Welcome to the Modern Homesteading Podcast.
We have allowed ourselves to become so disconnected and ignorant about something that is as intimate as the food that we eat.
Be prepared to grow your own for victory.
God said, I need somebody strong enough to clear trees and heave bales, yet gentle enough to yean lambs and wean pigs and tend the pink-foamed pullets who will stop his mower for an hour to splint the broken leg of a meadowlark. So God made a farmer.
Hello, and welcome back to the Modern Homesteading Podcast. I'm your host, Harold Thornborough from smalltownhomestead.com, and it's day 4 of our 30 days of homesteading Q&A, where I've reached out to some of the best bloggers and podcasters in the homesteading space to answer your questions about homesteading. Today's question is one I get all the time. I've had several people ask me this question. I see this question in forums. I see this question on Facebook all the time. The question is, how many eggs can I expect to get from a chicken, and for how long? A lot of people are wanting to know the answer to this question because so many people are getting into just backyard chicken raising these days, and they want enough eggs for their family, or maybe they want to sell a couple dozen a week or something like that, and they just want to know, how many chickens am I going to get this many eggs? So answering today's question is Mayet from the frugalchicken.com. Mayet just has all kinds of information on her website about chickens. She also has a podcast as well called What the Cluck. And Mayet, what do you say to this person needing to know, how many eggs can I expect from a chicken?
How many eggs can I expect to get from a chicken, and for how long? Hi there, this is Mayet from Frugal Chicken. If you're wondering how many eggs you can expect from your hens, I have an answer for you. The first thing to remember is the amount of eggs you will get from your chickens and the length of time they lay actually varies from breed to breed. It also depends on the season. Generally speaking, most chickens lay an egg about every 26 hours, so it's reasonable to expect around 5 eggs a week or 260 to 280 eggs a year from a laying breed such as a Barred Rock or a Rhode Island Red. Some chickens, like Production Reds and Gold Comets, can lay up to 300 eggs per year. If your goal is to keep chickens for eggs, you'll want to stick to a laying breed or crosses from laying breeds. I'm a fan of hybrids, so don't discount them when looking for a good layer. If you're raising meat chickens, such as Cornish crosses, you'll get far fewer eggs. That breed lays only an average of 50 or so eggs a year, and that's if you can keep them alive long enough to lay, since after about 10 weeks of age they usually begin having health problems. Of course, there are exceptions to every rule, but these are the averages you can reasonably expect. As for length of time for laying, there's a couple of things to discuss here. The rule of thumb is most chickens will lay regularly for 2 to 3 years and reduce production thereafter. That being said, chickens that produce year-round and have a supplemental light in the winter might end up reducing their production sooner than chickens allowed to have the winter off. That doesn't mean you shouldn't try to keep your chickens producing eggs in the winter, it's just something to be aware of. At about 18 months of age, chickens will begin molting, which means that they'll begin to lose their feathers and replace them with new ones. This is generally a physically stressful time for chickens, so her productions might drop off as well, but it should pick back up again when she's done molting. The best thing you can do is give her a high quality feed and enough protein to regrow her feathers. I hope this answers your 2 questions. Be sure to visit me at thefrugalchicken.com/chicken nutrition, where right now you can get my ebook, Chicken Nutrition, Raising Your Hen from Chick to Layer, for free.
Thank you, Mayet. That's some really good information. I want to elaborate on the sunlight issue, or the light issue, for how many eggs you'll get from your chicken. The reason a chicken will not lay as long in the winter, it really has nothing to do with the cold. It is the light. And the reason is because they have a pineal gland behind their eye. And it's what regulates something called melatonin, which sends hormones through the chicken and produces the eggs. And you can actually trick that, as Mayet mentioned, you can trick that pineal gland into picking up artificial light, thinking it's daylight, and you can continue the egg production through the winter. And you can do this by using artificial light. I think as a general rule, you want to use like a 40-watt bulb for about 100 square feet of hen house. But if you've got just a couple chickens in a small hen house, a 40-watt light bulb in there is all you really need. And you just have to give the chicken 8 hours of dark. So you want to just adjust a timer for that light to come on to get about 16 hours of daylight or of light to the chicken. And now one thing you have to consider, though, is that a chicken will only lay so many eggs in its lifetime. So if you're going to keep your chicken producing eggs through the winter, you're going to shorten the number of years that chicken will lay. So it's always going to lay about the same amount. You can just have it more consistently throughout the year, or you can extend the years of the chicken. So those are just some things to consider as well. If you want to know more about Maya, and you can go to her website, thefrugalchicken.com, and she has a YouTube channel. She's very active on Twitter and Periscope and Facebook, Google Plus, and just reach out to her and get in touch with her and check out all of her good information. There will be links to all that in the show notes, and plus some resources as well. If you want to check out the show notes, go to smalltownhomestead.com/eggs. That's smalltownhomestead.com/eggs. We'll be back in a couple days with another question and answer for you. Until then, happy homesteading.
Thanks for listening. To see the show notes for this podcast or listen to other podcast episodes, go to smalltownhomestead.com. There you can also read our blog, connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, and take advantage of the many resources we make available to help you along in your homesteading journey. Please share this podcast and help us to carry out our mission of helping others to homestead today for a better tomorrow.